Carlos. This is season 5 of Off Your Flosser podcast.
Season 5, that's what I'm going to call it. I'm going to say it in Spanish.
That's fair enough. Throwback to your heritage.
You know.
All right.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you. Here we go.
Karese's in. Let me let her in.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There we go. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I am well. Are you the new Sandy?
I am the new Sandy today.
Sandy's out, with Big Tuna doing her thing.
Yeah.
And so we got a stand-in.
Love it. I love it.
And we're waiting on Chris.
Story of my life.
I was just going to say, are we always waiting on Chris?
He's probably putting on cologne or something. I'm like, bro, you know we can't smell you, right? You know? So silly. Should we text him? I'm using my phone as a camera.
I will text him. It's not going to be a nice text, but I will text him.
Yeah. Somebody's got to say it. I love Chris. We have the best time when we room together. I can't remember what we were doing, but it must have been like 2 a.m, and I don't know if he was. We just came in, and he's literally 6 feet away in the other bed, right? And we're both looking at our phones, and I sent him a text, and he just says, "Hi." And he's like, "What's wrong with you, man?" And it was just random. And I like to just, I don't know, annoy and bewilder people with just random dumb messages. So.
It's funny. It's like my daughter. My daughter has a phone now, so she'll text me like she did the other night. She's in her room, I'm in mine. She just sent me a text, and I was like, "What? What is this?" I'm like, "You just come to me." She's 7, so I didn't get her the phone. It was her dad. So I was like, she doesn't need a phone, but whatever. She does the voice to text. It's hilarious.
Here we go. So this is, wow. Okay.
Oh,
there he is.
There he is.
Looking like a damn Marvel hero. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
I was busting your chops. I was like, he's probably putting cologne on. I'm like, bro, you know we can't smell you, right? You know?
Yo. You're so stupid, bro. Yo, I put on my good cologne for this.
You know, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. It's good to see you.
Hey, Becky.
Hello. I'm the new Sandy. I'm the new Sandy Lee today.
Look, even better, you Becky.
Well, Sandy's out traveling, visiting Big Tuna. We all know the famous Big Tuna, her nephew, and so Becky was on pretty recently, and since she's going to be involved with all of us here in a few months, so I figured, and she was a great guest, so I figured, and a friend of the show, so she graciously agreed to appear and co-host with on episode 199. You guys know me, same old dumb face, but we have Becky filling in for Sandy because Sandy's out traveling, and then we have a couple guests in the studio. The virtual studio, right? And, I'm gonna let you guys take it, man. Introduce yourselves, and I know you got some big news coming up, so that's what we're here to do. Talk about your event in Atlanta in the ATL. So let's ladies first, Miss Karese, if you wanna, the floor is yours.
Thank you. I am Karese Laguerre. I'm a registered dental hygienist, although I don't practice clinically at all anymore. I'm a myofunctional therapist, and I added now into my repertoire, look at that word, big words, repertoire conference planner.
If your mouth and tongue aren't working right, you know what I mean? Can't do those big words.
Very true. I was talking to somebody about that yesterday. Very, very true. So now I've added conference planner. And so I have teamed up with none other than the most incredible male hygienist that I know after Carlos. Carlos wasn't available.
Okay.
That's good.
With Mr. Christopher Williams. And we're so excited to talk today about Dental Culture Con. Chris, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Oh man, introductions. I am Chris Williams. I'm a registered dental hygienist as well. I do practice part-time and I do many other things. And like Karese, have recently added to my portfolio a conference planner. So Dental Culture Con, super excited about it and very happy to be on Off Your Flosser podcast. I love Sandy and Carlos, and we all love Becky.
Who
She's
doesn't?
she's everyone's ray of sunshine.
Literally.
Yeah.
Becky, for the people that maybe didn't
Yeah.
catch your episode, what's
yeah.
your deal? What do you do?
So I'm also a registered dental hygienist, but no longer practicing, and a photographer now, and a mascot. So I'm Lil Ray for Smiles at Sea Dental Festival. So if you didn't know.
Where can I find you? Where's your photography stuff? Where can
Through the Lens Event Photography, Facebook and Instagram, or Becky RDH on Instagram.
There you go,
or
folks.
Facebook. So yeah.
Get your pictures, which is why I think you were a fantastic fill-in for Sandy, is because you will be at the Dental Culture Con
will, yes,
as the photographer.
yes.
Right?
I'm going to be their event photographer. Yeah, so I'm super excited about that.
So
yeah.
practice what you preach, folks. So,
Exactly.
what caused you guys to put that together? Not, and I'll say this as a male hygienist, like an old school male hygienist back in the '90s when it was wild. You know what I mean? When people were like, who is this? Like, and that's where one of my favorite jokes came in, and it's kind of cheesy. Where I've had patients ask me, and you've heard it before. It was like, you're not a homosexual, right? And I'm like, wow. And my response is,
Oh yeah.
no, but my husband is. And with the thing is, where if you're gonna ask me something crazy, I'm gonna hit you with something crazy back. So let's go there. You don't know you don't know who you're messing with. This is a Puerto Rican hygienist from New Jersey and a comedian. So you're asking for trouble. But so it was a different world back then. This is 2023, and what made you guys put this together?
Chris, you want to take this one, or you want me to take it? I feel like I always take it.
I mean, okay, so putting together the Dental Culture Con was a natural progression to mine and Karese's journeys in dentistry, being minorities, me being a double minority, and also just being people who are well versed in the people of this industry. We've heard the gamut of different stories that we all experience, right? Like me as a male hygienist in a female dominated career field, um, I've oftentimes felt out of place, but that was my own, sometimes my own thoughts, and then also like industry and the world standards that they kind of just put on us, like kind of program into us, and we don't even realize it's happening, right? We have these outward, looks on what is right or what's the norm. Then being Black, right? We go to a lot of conferences and it's predominantly white, from the ownership to the attendees. So we often, most colored people we know, come into a room and we look around and we're looking for familiar faces or familiarity in that, there's other representation in the room. So we look for that comfort, right? And we find it and we see each other, but our numbers are always very, very low, right? So in that, we wanted to create a space where everyone could be included, where no one would feel excluded from feeling welcomed and represented. So a lot of us preach this message of diversity and inclusion, and a lot of times when we talk about that, we kind of speak about it in a way that excludes other groups. It says like, we're Black, so we want to do a diversity and inclusion conference, and people think that we're just tailoring it to Black people, right? But it's really about real inclusion and diversity, so everyone will be represented in a room in equal numbers and an equal representation on the stage, businesses, so on and so forth.
Becky, do you have any questions for him?
I do. I want to know how you guys came together, how you thought of this together. Who had the idea first? Who approached who first? How did that work out?
Can I take this one?
Yeah, go ahead.
I like this one. Okay. Thank you, Becky.
Yeah.
Sandy. Um, I I first heard Chris speak in Nashville at the dental festival about workplace culture, and he spoke with such passion. And I feel like in Nashville at um, the dental festival, we really connected. And after that, I started having some of my own internal reflections on different experiences I was having because I've been traveling more. I've been getting on stages. I've been going to conferences. And I started feeling certain things. And I remember calling Chris one day that I was having like this internal crisis. And I was like, am I crazy? Or is it real that when I go to a conference and I'm like the only minority there, it's not cool. And he completely validated, you know what? That's not a unique experience. That is something that, we do experience. That's something he had personally experienced. And we kind of shared and bonded over that. And then he told me that he had wanted to do something, like perhaps put on some type of conference to bring everybody together so that we don't feel that same way. And I think it took us a few months to really solidify that this was
Yeah,
going to be a thing,
yeah,
but it really did start from just us connecting over that shared experience. And the more that we talk with people about it, it's not unique to just the two of us. And it goes through a spectrum of things because it doesn't even have to do with race. I mean, there are people in the LGBTQIA plus community who feel that way. There are people who feels like there's ageism. You come into a
yeah,
room and there's a whole lot of young people there, and you feel maybe left out if you're on the higher end of that scale. There are people who feel like there's certain aspects of religion that aren't tolerated or accepted, or they can't find their community within. So CultureCon really hopes to celebrate all different cultures, all diversity, and we want everybody to feel as included as possible.
And I don't know if this is even a thing, but weightism, you know what I mean? I've always felt like
ah,
I didn't fit in
Yeah.
because I had nice clothes, but she just never fit right. You know what I mean? And so hopefully that's changing. But secondly, I want to take a step back real quick, and we all have a common thread. We all have a common denominator, which is our good friend and a friend of the show, and personal friend of mine, Elijah Desmond, where I think we all met each other. So I think
Yeah.
this is a sort of a downstream, a butterfly effect of. And Elijah's not a butterfly, dude. He's more of like a damn Thunderhawk or something, you know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? And when he flaps those wings, things happen down the way. And I've worked with him and hung out with him since 17. I think that's where me and Becky met. And then Karese, you and I, we did a different mentorship and then Chris, I've seen around the way, and we've always hit it off. So I think it's that's all this is a kind of a downstream effect of that positivity, because it's
yeah,
infectious. He's a I don't know. You guys know what I'm saying.
yeah,
And one of the reasons I gravitated towards him is because we look alike. You know what I'm saying? We have about the same complexion, and his head might be a little bit bigger, but I'm messing with it. But but he looked like me, and I was like, this guy's killing it, and it looks like me. So and that's where we hit it off. So um yeah, I don't know where I'm going with this, but
I think that's the thing too, man, that this person looks like me, right? Like
right.
that's where that initial connection starts.
And that's where I felt
And
comfortable. So
yeah,
right,
and
right.
so when we have the dental culture con and we have all these people that are in the room and they get an opportunity to see a lot of people that look like them. And we're not talking about like identical twin look like, right? We're talking about you resemble my culture. You resemble my choices in life, right?
Right.
Whether, like Karese said, you're going through transitions. Maybe you'll connect with some other people who are going through transitions in the same industry, right? And you can talk about how to navigate that in this industry. Um, Dentistry is changing before our eyes. It really is. Like, and a lot of these initiatives are exactly what is going to bring that final product of the change that we've all been wanting to see. But we have to have people who get behind it and aren't scared to celebrate and be okay with stepping into your truth, however different you are, right? Even as different as you think you are than other people, you are more similar than you know. But we just have to share it. We have to talk about it. We have to celebrate it.
I think that sometimes it has to boil down to with like people just don't know. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like people just don't know.
Right.
Like I took it upon myself when I had patients that were curious of a guy cleaning their teeth. And I'm like, well, the dentist is a guy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right.
you know, or one of the dentists is a guy. There's a lot of female dentists now. And but so what's the weird part? You know, I go, I have a
Mhm.
I had one dude like get upset. He's like, well, you know, I don't know if I really want a guy cleaning my teeth. I said, I don't know what kind of cleaning you thought this was going to be, sir, but you know, what I mean, I'm just as qualified, right?
Yeah.
He's like, you know, you if you get a massage, you don't want a guy doing it. I said, bro, that's you got issues, man. Is that why you wore all that brute today? Is that you thought it was gonna be a girl working on you, man? It just
Yeah.
so I had to make fun of him, but if you don't if you're not comfortable, I'm not gonna hold you down. Reschedule. And sometimes that's just best option. All right, you don't want to see me. That's on you. But it used to always bother me when people didn't give you a shot. You know what I'm saying? Just let me try. If you don't like it, that's fine. You know, but yeah, so I'm glad this is it's overdue and needed, and I'm glad it's in Atlanta, so I don't have to go far and just being lazy. And yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. What are the dates again?
June 15th to the 17th of this year. It's wrapped beautifully around Father's Day weekend and Juneteenth weekend. And we'll be sure to give you all the education, love, and support that you can get that Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That way you can go into that holiday really on a high.
I love that. Now this didn't take long, or I shouldn't say long. I mean, almost a year, right? For you guys to put this together,
Yeah, I
or
think
a
we
little
gave ourselves
less.
what,
Nah,
7, 8 months?
yeah, I was
Okay.
a little less than a year.
Okay.
Um, but nonetheless, you know, the mission is very powerful.
Mm,
So
yes.
even with a shorter amount of time, we would have loved to, you know, had more time tacked on this thing. But the mission, it just kind of bubbled over. It felt longer for me and Karese because the planning of it, or the concept of the idea was coming to us as we were, you know, having our discussions. But it wasn't until we fully and really, I want to piggyback, kind of jump back to Karese's story a little bit.
Mhm.
Um, in that we had multiple calls where we were just like we committed to having, what was it, weekly calls? I think we were doing. We were on some type of cadence of meeting regularly,
Yeah.
and we were just trying to figure it out. Like what is it that we are trying to do, but we know we just got to keep brainstorming and something will bubble over, right? And then after one of our conversations, sometime later, Karese really just the spark hit her, and she sent me a voice memo and was like, Chris, I think I got it. And that was the start of the Dental Culture Con.
And
And
that's all she
it
wrote.
was so much excitement in her voice, and she just really combined everything that we had been discussing, and it just kind of hit. And at that point we were like, let's not play around. This is really something, and let's do it. And everybody that we've talked to has echoed the same importance. So it's keeping us fueled, and we love that everyone is as excited as us.
It's that momentum that you have that just keeping you going. Like that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I've done something similar, but in a different vein. When there's not what you feel is the appropriate platform for yourself, sometimes you have to make your own lane. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And you
Mhm.
guys are doing that,
Yeah.
and that's super impressive. And you know, I wish you all the best, man. I can't wait to go and be a part of it in any way. As soon as Chris announced it, I was like, dude, whatever you need, man, just let me know, and I'll be there in whatever capacity you need. And then you know, y'all asked me to speak and stuff, so I'm pretty excited about that. And so thanks again. Um, yeah, you got to make your own opportunities. Like
Mhm.
I know to just switch gears for a quick second, that you know, Becky, you were doing you talked about doing photography forever, and then you know
Mhm.
just pulled the trigger this year. Same thing when I've been doing stand up for 12, but I talked about it for like 8. But you're right, making your own lane is and they're not giving you a space to talk. You got to build your own stage, man. So yeah, I'm excited for you, man.
100%.
Yeah.
And just to be real too, it really, as I looked around the industry, one of the things, and I maneuvered around because we're all in a similar friend group, and we're in this circle in dentistry of coaches, speakers, influencers, everybody who's trying to make a dream come true, right? And make their mark and their impact. What I've learned as I've been in rooms with different speakers, different meeting planners and things is that if there's no one in the room talking about you, your name, who you are, what you represent, then you'll never see really the traction that you like to see. And sometimes, you kind of see these familiar faces that are at every conference, speaking on every stage. And I'll tell you one thing that's really hit me hard, right? Atlanta is a black mecca. It's well known. It's it's the Black Hollywood, right? One of the bigger dental conferences that I know of, um, the Henman, right? Speak specifically. I went and looked because I attend the Henman regularly. I went and looked at their speaker lineup as I become a speaker. I just want to see who was going to be, listed there. And I went down the entire list and I didn't see not one black face, not one black speaker. And that to me was like, wow, really? In Atlanta? Like, maybe in, I don't know, Nebraska? I don't know. I don't know, right? Like it might be a little, less, but in Atlanta where the population is heavily black, and I mean I think it's pretty diverse here, so I would assume that it would be a diverse, panel of speakers, but yeah, so it is necessary in this industry, and I think I even noticed too, even when I speak about this sometimes, and I have to check myself internally where I'm like, I kind of low key don't want to offend people or make people feel a certain type of way about me being black and want to create a space for diversity and inclusion, for all races. And I really need people to feel that it's just time. It's time. And it's not a, I'm real big on not victimizing and being like, we're being held down by the oppressors, right? Like it's just creating a lane and a space, right? So that we can shine as we are due. Right. Karese, I'll tell you, for instance, Karese, as I've met her, to be honest, she's very impressive in her resume. And I don't think a lot of people recognize and give her the light that she's deserved, for everything that she does as a dental hygienist, myofunctional therapist, a wife, a mother of a army, and and yeah, and she sees patients in 2 states, in New Jersey and in Florida. Like, I mean, saving lives, it's crazy. So I think
Jersey.
yeah, right. Shout out to Jersey. I think there's a lot of gems like her in our industry. And like you, Carlos, like you're the king of comedy, bro. And I don't even think you get your due flowers, you know? I mean, you're killing it. I mean, you are killing it outside of the industry for sure too. But I still think that, you deserve more accolades
I
than even
appreciate it, man.
what you're
Thank you,
getting.
bro. On the 15th, the day before Hinman starts, I got the punchline, and it's going to be me, Joel, and another comedian, Jamie Bendel, who's, yeah. So I'm making my own lane, dude. I'm making my own lane, man. I'm gonna just start doing pop-up shows around different conferences. It's professional level. I mean, he has a special called Trophy Husband, where he talks about how he's the the trophy in this one because he doesn't work as much as his wife does. 'Cause she's got the benefits. She's got the job with the benefits, and he's a funny dude, clean comic, and just one of the most lovable dudes. And you guys are gonna love him. So
That's awesome, man. Congratulations.
For you.
This is a dumb question, but if you were a dental instrument, what instrument would you be? And I need 3 answers.
You still need
What
3
kind of
answers.
instrument would you be, Becky?
Nobody can back out.
Oh God, I haven't even picked up an instrument in
You had
over
to pay
4
the one.
years. I don't know. Let me think about this one. Hold on.
I mean, my personal favorite is just the anterior, scaler. Just
A straight one?
Yeah, just a straight edge. Yes, I am straight laced and sharp, all that.
Pointy, straight to the point. Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Chris, what do you think, bro?
Man, first of all, why do these feel like setups, man?
It's not. I just want to know what if you got 3 instruments on the table, one of them is explore. What else is on the table? Is all I want to know.
I'm a mirror.
Oh.
I reflect. I reflect what you are.
I like that.
Say something sexy and shit.
I
Look right back on you.
That was
You smell the cologne now?
That was just actually in my head too. I was gonna say mirror. Now I can't say that. So I don't know, 13, 14, Columbia 13, 14.
Dude,
Good old standard. The good old standard.
Columbia 32. Or the 204S, bro. That's
Oh, that's a good one though. Yeah.
that posterior sickle. Dude, I would do the whole
Yeah.
mouth with that, man.
Yeah, for real. The 204S is one of my favorites, right? With the Navy.
Because I got big hands, so I couldn't get those intraoral, you know what I'm saying? So I needed something with a little reach. So let me ask you this. And I wrote a joke, Karese, when we talked recently, and I don't know. Now that I'm looking at it, I don't think it's that funny, and it has to do with Mayo, right? Because I think maybe I got off your email, right? And I go Mayo. They just I didn't know that's what it meant was myofunctional therapy. I was way off, and I'm reading the joke. It says I thought it was an abbreviation of an expression of ownership in Brooklyn. For example, nah, son, that's mine's, yo. Stop playing, B. So again, I don't know if it's funny,
I know you're
but
gonna take that somewhere else.
Me too.
Especially with my email address being, the Mayo spot, and then some people just take it as the Mayo spot.
Oh, okay. See, I don't think like that. I'm more wholesome.
That's
bro.
good. You're
And
clean.
that didn't even occur to me. But now I
Like-
won't be able to see it any other way. But hey, what kind of website is that? Hilarious, man. So all right. So we talked about business. We're doing the Dental Culture Con. What are you guys working up? How's life? How are things? We could be casual too. It doesn't have to be all business. This is probably the most serious podcast I've had in a while. This serious. We touched on some issues, man. But it's good. I think it's overdue and it's necessary. Plus, it's gonna be fun shit. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
I think on.
Go, you go first.
I was gonna say on a casual note, if anybody is planning to do a conference, just know it's stressful as hell. Okay. Just know that it is super stressful. Like you don't prep or you can't be prepared for it. It is just a lot of moving parts, a lot of pre-planning, and when you're working on something, you realizing that there's something that needed to be done yesterday. So everything is like, oh my God. Now I'm sure there's some meeting planners who's like, well, I bet if you hire me, right? Like you would
Right,
deal with those pains, right? But what I think we've all learned is to appreciate the process, because it teaches you. It's what, like, if everything was easy, right, then you wouldn't be prepared for when things go wrong and when there's challenges. So for us, this being our first, I'm always grateful for the challenge, right? Like I felt that same way about when I was in the military and I went on my first deployment. There was tons of people who went on the skate ones, the nice ones, to like Qatar, right? And there's like a mall and they get to, do all that type of stuff. And then my first one, I go to Afghanistan, right? And it's during the spring offensive we learning new terms. The spring offensive. This is when the Taliban are heavy on our bumper, right? So I appreciate the struggle because then I can enjoy, what I've learned in that process. So our next one will be a lot more prepared for. We won't have the same stresses, but I'm still going to be prepared for the stress of putting on the conference, reaching out to sponsors and getting people to purchase tickets. That's big on our agenda right now. So that's probably some of the seriousness too that we have when we come on this your podcast. Like, it might be lighthearted and we're you know how we are because we know each other offline, right? But when we come onto the podcast, we do got to kind of let it off our shoulders a little bit because there is pressure. We're really like, yo, we got a podcast this morning. We got a conference that we're doing in like 3 months. So we need to be like on point.
Where would somebody go if they wanted to find out more or purchase tickets? I'm even at the point where I want people to just support. You know what I mean? If you like me and you can't even make it to the show, I'm not saying to do this, but if you bought a ticket and donated it to someone else, or you know what I'm saying? That's super appreciated. Where would somebody be able to go to purchase a ticket, an event ticket to your program?
Dentalculturecon.com.
The whole, spell it all out, right?
DENTALCULTURECON.com.
Dude, you sound like one of them little kids on the spelling bee.
Spelling bee, right? Look at Aquila and the bee over here.
Supercalifragistic. You're like, oh man, that's good.
Yo, funny story. Yeah. So when I was in like middle school, when I was in elementary, and we got introduced to taking spelling tests, right? I was always killing those tests, like hundreds on all of them. So I felt like I was a top tier speller, right? So when I got to middle school, they had our first spelling bee, and I was like, oh shoot, I'm a good speller. So I'm going out for this. I'm about to win the whole thing. They don't even know this is a hidden talent for me, right? So I get up there confident. They give me my word. And the first thing I'm thinking, right, overthinking, this is overthinker in me as a kid. I'm like, oh, that's a trick question. Bet I'm about to spell it the way you think I don't know how to spell it. So I spelled it the more complicated way. And they were like, that is incorrect. And the feeling that left my body because of the confidence that I had. Listen, and I had to walk back to my seat, like come off the stage, all my friends in the
It's a lonely walk, bro.
They just knew. They knew like I knew that I was gonna kill this first word. I wasn't gonna be out. And your boy was out.
What was the word?
I wish I remember the word, man. It was something simple too.
It's probably like way, W-A-Y, and he's like W-E-I-G-H.
Exactly. It was something like that. It was something just like that. Yes. Yeah, man. Sad time. We should have a spelling bee in the dental industry. Make people spell like the scientific words for things in our industry.
Oh, like
I got a guest.
Mutant, whatever all those the bacteria.
Right. Agricobacter.
Right, yeah. Who do you got?
You got grandson? Or is that Cookie?
No. Cookie better not ever show up here, bro. I got a restraining order against her. And, she moves slow, so I can dodge her. No, that was my grandson got up and he's looking through the door, and then he just shoves it open and grabs something off my desk. I don't even know what he grabbed and ran off. So Puerto Rican at heart,
he got out of there.
Yeah, like who was I talking to the other day? Because he's a quarter Puerto Rican, and so I was talking to somebody, and I was like, yeah, no, he doesn't look it, but he is. He just ran in my office and snatched my watch and ran off. You know what I mean? They're like, dude, you got to stop with those stereotypes, man. And I'm like, it's a joke, man. Relax, But last night,
people need to know who Cookie is, man.
Oh, Cookie's my mom's creepy friend, man, who's real handy.
Oh.
And yeah, she's inappropriate, man, and just You know, she doesn't. She's maybe got like 2 weeks left, bro. So all she does is try to shoot her shot, and oh, she's a little handsy, and
I mean,
I can't wait to get to that age where people excuse that kind of behavior.
right?
my mom thinks it's hilarious, and I'm like, Mom, it's not funny.
Don't
Talk to your
mind her.
girl.
She's old.
Yeah.
Right.
I turned it into a bit because it makes me uncomfortable. You know. I'm sorry.
It's funny because like now you do it and you can't. I mean, people are like,
Um,
"What? What is she doing?"
Ageism.
Appropriate.
Yeah.
I had but I can't. She's a real person. I can't say her name. I had a patient, and she was, I want to say, late 70s, right? And then I'm gonna change her name to Casey, right? And so I'd go in the lobby, and she'd be the only patient out there. I'm like, "Is there Miss Casey?" And she'd be like, "Boy, you know you see me." And I'm like, "Oh, there you are. Come on." And she's like, "Well, stop playing, right?" So we get in the back, and she would let me go for like 7 or 8 minutes, just doing material. And then she'd be like, "Okay, hush up, clean my teeth." And I'm like, "You started it, right?" And then but she only had like 15 teeth, bro. So it wasn't like it was all anterior teeth. It wasn't gonna take long. But she would show up like every 3 months, and we would have like the best time. And I remember one time she goes, "Boy, there's something wrong with you. You might be a little crazy." I said, "I'm crazy." I'm like, "You might be a little crazy too, because you have the option of seeing other hygienists, but you keep putting yourself on my schedule." And she's like, touche, touche. So I don't know. I love older people because they can be 100% honest. Funniest oldest guy I had, guy was in his 90s. You know, the kind of the guy that looks like he can fall over because he's walking real slow, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "How you doing, sir? How's it going today?" And I'd seen him a few times. And one time we got into a conversation about death and dying, right? And it's weird because sometimes older folks are real comfortable because they know it's coming. You know what I mean? That's like the next step, right? So he was like totally cool with it. And then I go, "Well," I remember laughing and in the conversation, and I go, "So how do you want to go?" You know, he goes, "I want to get shot in the back by a jealous husband." And I'm like, "Yo, that is hilarious, bro. You're not doing nothing to anybody's wife. What are you talking about?" You know what I mean? So shot in the
That's
back by a
hilarious.
jealous husband. I mean, that is the
Why in the
craziest thing.
back? I guess you don't want to see it coming, I guess.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
it's
As
crazy old
opposed
dude,
as
bro.
opposed to getting shot straightforward.
Well, meaning like
I'd
he's
rather
gonna,
get shot.
meaning he's gonna
I
be
want to see it
sleeping
coming.
with somebody's wife was his,
He's
that was a joke.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the fact that some 90-year-old guy that could barely walk is talking crazy like that just made me laugh. I'm like, "Bro, I like your optimism, bro. I don't think that's
Right.
gonna happen though." But
You don't know. He
fun,
might be putting it down somewhere.
you know,
Yeah, you never know.
he's saving that hip
Uh,
mobility for other stuff. Anyway,
I mean,
um,
there's Viagra.
Part.
that's why he's walking like that.
Hey, and look, the tongue might still work too.
It's true.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
that's a thing. But all right, speaking of tongue stuff, what explain in a couple sentences what the whole myofunctional therapy, because I was way off. It's not something you put on sandwiches. It's
It's
mayo,
not
not
mayo.
mayo. All right.
Right.
So for people that don't know, because I honestly, I got to be honest with you, like I didn't know what it was until, because I'm on the end. I was on the end of my career, you know, when that became a thing, and I've heard it, but I don't know exactly what it is. Can you give us the layman's explanation?
Yes, myofunctional therapy, in my best example of it, I compare it to personal training. So it's like personal training for all the muscles below your eyes, but above your shoulders. We work with all the muscles in the oral facial and some of the oral pharyngeal muscles to help strengthen, coordinate, and engage them so that you can breathe better, sleep better, have better ortho retention. There's so many wonderful benefits for myofunctional therapy, but why I like that personal training comparison is because it is a commitment. It's 100%. Just like if you wanted to go into a gym, sign up, work out with a personal trainer, and then you went and sat on your couch for a week, you would never get six pack abs. You got to actually put in the work for myofunctional therapy in order to get like six pack tongue. I don't know.
I like that.
Um,
What does it improve, Karese? Like what does it help?
A number of things. So, tongue thrust might be one of the most common things that we get referrals for. People who just have low tongue resting posture, because most people don't know your tongue actually does have a spot where it should be at rest. It should actually be lightly suctioned up from the incisive papilla all the way back to the soft palate. If you don't feel your tongue there right now, as I'm describing it, you probably need myofunctional therapy. We help with nasal breathing, digestion. We all know starts in the mouth. The tongue is critical for chewing and swallowing. And so we do help refine those skills as well. There's like a multitude of things it could help with.
Is there crossover between that and speech pathology?
Yes and no.
Okay. No, I'm just this is an ignorant person
No, I
asking.
get it.
I
I
just want
get
to see if
it.
there's a
Yeah, there is some crossover, but not exactly. So, just like dentistry and speech language pathology, we're both very big on what's going on in the mouth, in the pharynx. We're looking at all of these things. We're really focused on the same areas. They just have different goals. I
different
mean,
goals. I got you.
they're working on speech articulation and so forth, pronunciation, all those things, oral motor skills. We're so more working on oral function. So, is there a crossover? Are there speech language pathologists that do myofunctional therapy? Absolutely. But myofunctional therapy looks different from speech therapy in the same way that myofunctional therapy looks different from clinical dental hygiene.
Gotcha. Okay. Good. Now I know. And again, not to be ignorant, but yeah. Thanks for clearing that up for me.
I got a question
What's up?
on the concept of like culture. I'm actually curious, as I've known you guys for a long time. What who are you guys, like, as far as your nationality? Do you know your origins? Do you know, like, have you ever done an ancestry test to see, what your lineage is?
I've never done an ancestry test, but I know my mom's side, there's some German and or Polish, mostly Polish. My dad's side, I don't know what his dad is, but his mom, my grandma, she's full Japanese. So my dad was born there. So he's half, so I'm a quarter Japanese. So I tell people I'm Japanese and Polish.
Mm,
Such a great
love it.
combination.
Love that.
Uh, but
I have never done an ancestry test and I never will because they give that information to the government. And I want to be open and
mm.
free to possibly in the future commit a crime and not have it traced back to me so fast.
Right.
Not to say that I will
Yeah.
commit a crime, but if I want to, I want to know that my DNA is not out there.
Yeah.
I do know my lineage though. My parents are from the islands. My dad's from Barbados, and a lot of his history dates back through the island. So I know in some way, shape, or form, West Africa would have to be where that would be pinned back to. And then my mom's from St. Vincent, and so that would also trace back at some point to some parts of West Africa.
On that note, I'm waiting for the feds to knock on my door any moment now because I did my ancestry .com. Just so I got to stay extra clean, dude, because my DNA's out there, bro. It's on the books, right? And I just pulled it up when we started talking, and I have a pretty diverse background as far as DNA, dude. It's pretty cool. You guys know I'm Puerto Rican, right? And but can I read it off? Do you guys care?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Go for it.
All right. Spain 24%, Portugal 24%. Same country area, right? So I'm sure there's some crossover there. That makes sense. That's almost half of it, right? Indigenous Puerto Rico, which is the Taino Indians that live there all along the Caribbean and some parts of Florida and stuff like that. So they were like a native peoples, if you will. Okay. And then it gets weird. And then I got England, Northwestern Europe, 7%, Nigeria 6%, Northern Africa 4%, 4% Jewish, Senegal, Basque, 2% apiece, Benin and Togo, West Africa, Cameroon, Congo, 1%, and the Indigenous Americas, 1%. And then 1% each of Wales, Scotland, and Ireland, which I don't know. I don't know what all that means, but my mom, if you see my mom's she's a brunette with fair skin and green eyes, right? Beautiful, high cheekbones. My daughter looks just like her, and my dad looks like the dude working on your car or mowing your lawn. You know what I mean? He's got that caramelly kind of brown skin. I'm somewhere in the middle, but I got two brothers that look white for all intents and purposes. And I know people sometimes they're surprised when I speak Spanish. I go, my name is Carlos Antonio Rodriguez. I mean, if I don't speak Spanish, well, then somebody dropped the ball. You know what I mean? Somebody dropped the ball, dude. And they were like, dude, I forget you speak Spanish. I had a buddy of mine. He's a black dentist, and we worked together for maybe 15 years. And one day, like recently, he goes, you're Puerto Rican? I'm like, yeah. He goes, dude, I thought you were mixed. I'm like, man, how long have I known you, man? You know, it's like I didn't know. You know, it's like, oh, so stupid, bro. But you know, I try to get along with everybody. I've said this publicly. I've even said it on stage. I go, you know, I get along with everybody. If we don't get along, it's you. It's not me. Because you know what I mean? Because you know what I'm saying? I'm super, you know, gracious and like you, Chris. We've never had a crossroad or any of y'all, you know. And I think that's why we all hang out is because we're all, you know, decent people, not just pretending to be nice. You know, on social media or whatever. I've had legit, heartfelt conversations with all of y'all, and I think that what you see is what you get, which is the way I like to be. So yeah. So if you guys are thinking about coming, the Dental Culture Con, June
15th
15th
to
through the
17th.
17th. Yep.
you know, I'll be there. Becky will be there running around with taking pictures. I don't know.
Well,
I hope you.
Elijah will
I'll
be
be all
there.
over.
Elijah's gonna be
Yeah.
there. What he's doing? He's playing.
Yeah,
He's doing a
he's
show,
gonna be
right?
he's gonna be on the ones and twos.
Bro.
We're actually
Yeah.
at the Dental Culture Con. We're introducing a very new concept of a party that it really exemplifies diversity and inclusion, and that is called it's Giving Shade party. So the attire would be, you know, how we are so used to the white parties and the black tie events, right? Now you'll have one that is directly tailored to skin tones. So everyone will be dressed in their favorite skin tone color or whatever they feel like they want to represent for the night. So that's going to be a beautiful sight to see, and we're going to dance, and there's going to be drinks, and we're looking to have that completely, you know, free, so no one has to pay for drinks that night. So we'll see what happens. We need sponsors, because alcohol is not cheap. You hear me? And the help ain't cheap either. You know, to help get it to y'all.
All right. So, Chris, what are you? You didn't say what you were.
Oh yeah, I didn't know you guys cared.
Of course.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
That's the last.
Trying to dodge a question. Look at this guy.
So I never done the ancestry either, but you know, I think I did the next best thing, which is to, you know, talk to your family, right? And see like, where did we come from? So interestingly, my family is very broken, and there's a lot of just missing pieces. And I met my granddad for the first time actually in a Facebook post on Father's Day. So it was Father's Day. I posted a picture of me and my son, my oldest, and, you know, just celebrating being a father. And then this old guy, Donald Connor, rest in peace, Grandpa. He commented on that post and said, "Hey, I'm your granddad." And I was like, "What the heck?" So then we
Wow.
started messaging on Facebook, and then we started, you know, talking on the phone. And I've been a big proponent of wanting to know what my lineage is, and I would ask, and it would be, you know, like I said, my family's broken, so I'm getting like these broken stories of things, but not the complete picture. And when I met him, it was so crazy because without me knowing him from all my life, we were so similar, and it just really is like DNA and blood is so powerful. But he told me that I am African, Mandinka African. I am Irish and Blackfoot Native American. And it's so interesting because it really kind of shows you the travel, that like
For sure.
the migration of
Mhm.
the people, right? And how they, maybe stopped off in different places and grabbed a little, got a little
Yeah.
something there, right? Picked it up
While
and carried it
we're
on.
here, type of
Yeah.
thing. Like
Yeah.
my
Right.
story, the
crazy.
Spain and Portugal thing, Africa to the Caribbean. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? It's like,
Right.
I see what's going on here. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can
And I
almost
think
trace it. It's crazy, but
yeah,
that's interesting, man. I had no idea.
it's a beautiful thing to
Yeah.
see. Like even
Mhm.
even just hearing your stories, like you guys all know my last name is Williams. My granddad's last name is Connor. And in him telling me the story, he said we were actually Connors from this Irish last name, right? We were, it was an Irish
Mhm.
thing, but they dropped the S off so that they could sound more American to Connor, right? So it's just so cool the way. And I'm
Crazy.
Williams. I'm Williams just for the simple fact of through that timeline, he wasn't there when my dad was born, so my dad just took my grandmother's last name, and even that, the passing of the names, right? Like, where did your name come from? How did you get that name?
Yeah.
Is it the original name, right? How long has that name been a part of your family? So yeah, very, very interesting.
There's never a time I talk to Chris and I am not like impressed or like learn something new.
Right.
Absolutely amazing every time.
Mhm.
I know.
I
It's awesome.
appreciate that.
I hang out with my grandma a lot. It sounds funny, but I love it. She's like my best friend. She's
Oh,
93. I go hang out with her. My grandpa's been gone for 10 years now or so. So, so I go over there, we hang out and drink a bottle of wine together.
Oh yeah.
So she tells me all these stories and I just love it because I get to like hear her past and her growing up and just like you, Chris, learning about that, like that side of the family. It's just I love it. So
yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah.
Legacy is 100% power. It's
Yeah.
powerful to
Yeah.
leave a legacy and to know the legacy that has been left behind
Mhm.
by people. That was when legacy kind of became a thing for me. I would say around 2012, 13. I got really serious about being like, where am I from? And like I was almost to the point where I was contemplating dropping my last name and starting a whole new lineage because I felt like my family was so broken, and I really wanted to remove generational curses and just start fresh, right? Because as I was thinking, like when I met meeting my granddad later on and finding out that I was supposed to have a whole different last name, um, I just thought of like, see how these events transpire through, the history, and what you decide to do is what later on is um it kind of impacts your family going forward.
Mhm.
I decided obviously to keep my name and really just inflict that change in the family as it stands. But I think it's super important for us to know where we're from, understand our culture, and even new cultural norms, right? That you're creating, right? What traditions are inflicting on your family and putting in place,
Mhm.
right? And moving forward. So culture is hugely, hugely, hugely a part of, I think, all of our lives, and it's an important conversation for us to determine like what does that culture look like, what does it mean, what does it sound like, and what kind of legacy is it leaving for you, your family, and even people outside of your family that are just within the sound of your voice and will be impacted by your presence as you're here, having this human experience, right? So I just think it's super important.
I couldn't agree more, man. But I'll also say that we're our own people, and I don't know how your upbringings were. But I mean, we didn't have a lot of money growing up, and we can go into details some other time. But it's sort of like I always wanted to do more and do better for my kids, and I think considering from where my parents came, they were both immigrants in the '60s, and I became a hygienist, and my daughter's a doctor, so it's sort of like that's pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? So one generation, you focus down. And I didn't have anybody that went to college growing up. Like I didn't know. Like I had, you know what I'm saying? So when I went to the military is where I was exposed to other people that, doctors and dentists and where I worked in a hospital. I was like, oh, okay, well shit, I might could do this, in my mind. But growing up, it was like I'm driving a truck or a forklift or getting a manual job, which is there's nothing wrong with it because I think every young man needs to have do some hard labor and have some adversity to grow as a man. I would, Chris, you would probably agree, right?
Sure.
Guys, if you have it too easy, you're gonna be soft. And I got grown adult as friends with beards that don't know how to change a tire. And I'm like, that's embarrassing. You need to shave immediately. You know what I'm saying? Ridiculous. And that being said, every lady should know how to change a tire. My daughter, when we got her a car, and she was coming home from college one day, right? And she drove home on a damn flat, dude. Ground that tire to pieces, like almost cut the middle of the rubber out. I'm like, babe, you didn't feel how it was running a little funny? And she's like, I don't know. I thought there was mud or something stuck to it. I'm like, did you go through mud? You know what I mean? So, and I go, we got to buy a new tire. I go, all right, well, here, I'm going to teach you how to change it. And that's my fault, Can you go ahead and get the jack out? She goes, I have a jack. I was like, oh my God, I have failed as a father.
No.
I'm like, go grab some gloves. And we had those thick rubber, like work gloves. And I showed her how to do it. And I go, if you ever need it and I can't get to you, you got to do it yourself, And so, yeah, I had to teach her how to change the tire. And I felt bad for not doing that earlier, but she never had a reason to. All right.
I mean, that's as cliche as it is, man. Those tests, right? They create the testimony for you, right? You have to, look at buddy. Hey.
All right, Bob. You gotta go, okay? Go.
Kids be so fascinated when they come up and they see their parents or grandparents. Like my son does the same thing when he comes in my room and he sees that I'm like on the screen, I'm talking to people, and then he's like, he sees me on the screen too.
Yeah.
Not making the correlation of like, hold on, you on camera and there's other people and you're talking to them live, like the TV that I'm watching out in the living room. Like, what's going on in here?
I'm sorry.
I love it. Papa. I know, it's crazy. I know my kids, when I was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, my daughter was like, oh, you were? And she's like watching it with me. She's like, go, Mom. I'm like, thanks. She's like my little hype girl.
It's fun to wonder what kids think. They were at the mall the other day and I wasn't with them, and I have a business card with my face on it. And so they hand him a card and he's going, Papa, Papa, and he's kissing the card. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that little boy, he loves his pop-up, dude. Like if something goes down, he knows I'll get him a snack. You're never gonna be hungry around me. You know what I'm saying? I'm always in the kitchen making him shit, and I love it, dude. He wakes me up. It's ridiculous, man.
Special moments, man.
Yeah, I love it, man. Karese, you have children or two, right?
Have a children. I do have a children or two.
What are their age ranges?
I have one boy. He's 18 years old. He'll be 19 in like 2 weeks.
Okay.
I have 16-year-old daughter, a 13-year-old daughter, and an 8-year-old daughter. Awesome. It's hard to keep them all in track. There's like too many of them. Sometimes I go through all the names before I get to the right one.
Oh yeah. My mom does the same thing. I'm the last one. I'm like, Mom, I was the oldest one. I was the firstborn. My name should be ingrained the deepest.
That's not how that works. No. A lot of
No.
times it's just like, whatever your name is, stop doing that.
Yes. You.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yeah. We do that with my brother and my son. Like my mom does it, I do it. And I think because their names are a little similar, like my brother's name is Chad, but my son's name is Jax. So I don't know. I think it's just, I don't know, but we always confuse. We're always like, Chad, no, I mean Jax. It's weird. I don't know why we do it, but
it's that parent brain, dude. You can only take so much stuff. You can only process so much stuff. Well, unless you guys have any last words or anything, we can shut it down whenever you want, or we can keep going.
Let me make sure I jump in on this part too, because you guys like to forget about me. I have kids too.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. You know?
I don't want anybody thinking I was trying to skip out on it. Y'all just
No, I know you're a proud
naturally,
father, man. I know you're a
Yeah.
proud father. Okay,
for
give him
sure,
some
for sure.
info,
I
Chris.
got
What you got?
three little heirs to the throne. I have Chris the third, right? So I'm the second. I have a third. He's my oldest, and he just turned 13. I would say just, but in October he turned 13.
Okay.
That was emotional for me, man. That's crazy. I look at all three of my kids like this, but it's different too because the firstborn is always the first one that you experience the new things with.
Yeah.
Um, so like
Yeah.
when it was coming to being born, right? He was the first one that I experienced and was like right there looking at him and his head come out, and you know what I'm saying? Getting emotional and proud. I got my son, Simba, right? Like
And now he's a teenager.
now
That's
he's a
crazy.
teenager. Yeah, now he has. I remember when he was a little kid that was like, taking him to McDonald's and he wants to play in the play area. And he's trying to make friends and he's like the only kid, so he's socially awkward. He's trying to hug a kid while the kid is trying to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing, man? Like, hey, throw a ball at him, throw a ball back. He's trying to hug and stuff, But looking at him now as a teenager is just so crazy. And then I have my daughter who's taller, almost taller than me. She is 11, and so her mom is tall. And then I have my youngest. I'm sorry, her name is Milani, and my youngest Kingsley. He's 3, but he'll actually be 4 this month. So um,
Nice spread, man. Yeah.
yeah,
Enjoy it, man. Enjoy it, dude. Yeah, I find, and I feel like I've been bogarting this conversation, but it's sort of like when you're around little kids, like I really enjoy it. Like I got 3 grandkids now, so it's sort of like it's almost more fun because there's no financial responsibility, but you know what I mean. And if I die
Right.
tomorrow, I mean, it might be traumatic for their parents, but it's not really going to hurt them. But I want to live long enough and stay healthy enough where when I do finally die, that it shatters their weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Just the weekend?
well,
That's
just I mean, I want them to be just devastated for the weekend, but I want them to know me and miss me. I guess is what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So that's my motivation for staying healthy. Everybody's got to have a purpose. I think you got to have a purpose, and it could be just hey, I'm bored with what I'm doing. I need to be happier doing something I want to do, like with the photography or doing your culture con,
Yeah.
dude. So I think it's fantastic, and I love working with people that are movers and shakers. My bike, if it's going, it's the wheels are a little bent and it's kind of wobbly, but it's slowly picking up speed. So and I want to see you guys racing and killing it, man. So any last words?
Thank you for having us.
Oh
I'm
no,
super
dude.
looking forward to seeing you on stage. I mean, that's going to be the highlight of my dental culture con experience for sure.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun and
It
funny,
is.
and I'm adding I always like emotion. I don't want to be a clown. I want to be entertaining for sure, educational obviously, but I need to connect on a mental and an emotional level. I've often said, like, when you watch a movie, if it makes you angry, if it's an angry type of movie, or you revenge, or makes you fall in love, or miss your grandma, or whatever, then if it moved you on an emotional level, then it did what it was designed to do. If you didn't feel anything of it, then it was just kind of just dumb, wasteful entertainment. So I want to move people, so and make them laugh. I want people to laugh and cry when I talk. You know what I mean?
I'm excited to see you on stage, bro. Like I'm really ready for you to combine. I've seen you on the comedian side. I've talked to you on the emotional side. I've already connected. I'm super excited to see you bring that together on stage. Um I'm excited about what you just said too. Like just as far as like creating that feeling, right, in people, that inspiring people, that emotion, right? Like I'm super excited for this event to do that. So when people leave this event, they feel more aware, more empowered, and just charged up about how they impact dentistry, being exactly who they are. So I'm super excited for you guys to be there. I'm excited for this vision of Karese's and I to come together and to see you guys. I told Karese already that when this event happens and I see people there, I am 100% gonna cry. I know for a fact it's
No,
gonna
bro,
happen.
because if I see you
Good.
crying, then it's over for me, bro. You know,
Yeah,
I'm always, I mean, I joke about it, but I'm always like 4.5 minutes from crying, dude. Like I'm an emotional wreck sometimes, man. You know, but ain't nothing but love on this side. You know what I mean? Like
nothing but love.
I just want to love, but anyway, so you guys have been fantastic, man. Thank you so much for coming, and Becky, thank you so much for helping out,
Yeah.
and
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
oh, anytime, always a pleasure.
Yes.
And all
Thank
right,
you,
guys.
guys.
So you know how we close out the show, right?
Go floss yourself.
There you go. See, Becky,
we
that's how you
supposed to
do
say
it.
I know. I
Yeah.
messed it up last time. I didn't. I screwed
I'm
it
busting
up.
your chops.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry.
giving you a
I
hard time.
screwed it up.
I'm giving you a hard time. All right, so on the count of three, 1, 2, 3, go
Go
floss.
floss yourself.
There you go. Awesome. That was absolutely ridiculous and dumb, but I appreciate you guys playing along. Man. Thank you so much. Guys, Dental Culture Con coming in June. Check out the dates in the description of the website. Buy a ticket. We'll see you there. Take care.